And El will walk among you, and will be your God, and ye shall be my people. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. And be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors. And the King of glory shall come in. Our Father who art in heaven, may thy kingdom come in earth through thy presence in me, that the light of thy word may shine unto those that I meet day by day. May thy presence in my brother be such that I may glorify thee. May I so conduct my own life that others may know thy presence abides with me, and thus glorify thee. Our thoughts, our words, our activities, and our general outlook on life are motivated by our concept of him whom we worship. Our inner life and reaction to all environs and associations are expressions of what we have done about or with the knowledge and consciousness of his presence abiding with us. When we keep his presence as a thing apart, something to be experienced or something of which to be aware, then, when we are disturbed in some manner, we lose sight of the fact that to abide in his presence can be the experience, the knowledge, and the understanding of all who seek to do his bidding. His presence abides with us always. For it is in him we live and move and have our being. We must realize this and come to know and understand that we are children of God. God is spirit, standing back of everything in creation. God is one. We cannot separate him from his creation. We may try to do so, but in so doing we become dual, mystified, and confused. When we separate ourselves or think ourselves apart from our Maker, we are like ships without rudders. The oneness is ever existent, but it is only through our realization and our acknowledgement of its existence that the change is worked in us and life takes on a new aspect. We are free will agents. God is not a person in the sense that we think of persons. Yet, to those of us who seek his presence, he is very personal. He is God to all, Father, to those who seek. It is our oneness with the Father that the Master stressed while on earth in a physical body, when he declared that he could do nothing of himself. It was the Father within him that did the works. Just so we, to do the works of God, must seek ever to be conscious of the presence within. All the guidance, help, supply, joy, peace, and whatever goes to make life worth living is within. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Know, ye children, the Lord thy God is one. Each spirit, each manifestation, either in this or any other sphere of development, moves toward the knowledge, the understanding, and the conception of that one, him, God, Jehovah, Yah, the All-One. It is only when we listen to the still small voice within and know that his presence is with us that we come to the realization that we are one with him. Show forth in thine life, as ye go about, that thou hast taken thought of his ways. Fear not to speak oft with thy God. Be on speaking terms with thy Father. As there arises in the experience of each those things that would needs be carried to the throne of grace, know that the door is not shut. For he will have mercy upon those who seek and call in his name. In giving an interpretation of the records, there is much to choose from, but these we choose with the desire and purpose that this entity may yet apply that which may be indicated to better fulfill the purpose for which this entity entered this present experience. For know, there is that awareness that should be in self, that the very fact ye are conscious of thy activity in the material plane should be evidence that thy Father God hath need of thy service in the earth, and that through the present activity, ye are given the opportunity to be a channel of blessing to someone. 4. To obtain the consciousness and awareness of coming into his presence, or as one would call to heaven, it will be as if it were leaning on the arm of someone ye have tried to help. For as ye do it unto thy brother, ye do it unto thy Maker. No, they are immutable laws. God is, and ye as a daughter, as a servant of the Most High God are his handmaid. Then act like it. So live with others that ye can approach the throne of grace and call him, Father, God. For, as has been indicated, and read this carefully, apply it personally as ye read it in Exodus 19:5, no, it is speaking as of thee. That ye may be one. For all are in the same relation. If they will accept that which is spoken there as their own relationship to the creative forces. But remember, each soul stands the same before God. Should there, then, be preferences to such an extent that ye forget all others? For, as ye do it unto the least of thy brethren, ye do it to thy Maker. Spread it more in a universal activity, and you'll not be so badly disappointed in one. But the law of the Lord is perfect. Let it convert the soul. As has been outlined, those policies should be put in force as an active thing that makes for a service that, not only in the letter but the spirit of proper cooperation, brings its own results. For, as in individual life, more and more must there be the necessity of business and business relations on every hand to have an ideal. The sooner the necessity is recognized in the minds, the hearts, the souls of individuals that carry on in the commercial or business world, the sooner will there come that regeneration which will make for the drawing together of those who may make the day of the Lord at hand. For in him we live and move and have our being. Business must have an ideal, a soul. So, as the contacts are made in the various phases and spheres of endeavor in the business, let that ideal stand out as an element to each individual associated in same, and they may say as they will or may, but this will have its effect. Not as one that may be in any manner as considered weak, but, as has been given, the very weakness that is entrusted in the ideal of Jehovah makes this strong, and the might that will conquer those other elements where sharp business practices must fall away. Though they may appear at times to have overcome or conquered, yet those that work with the ideal will ever be able to arise from the ashes of failures to the crowning successes on every hand. Then, with the application of the physical forces as for the physical body, these will bring that desire of the heart, and conception may take place. For these in its creative forces are the gifts from creation as constructive measures are builded, and ever has it been blessed, is she whom the Lord smiles upon in a life of usefulness and propagation of species, that comes with an understanding. In this the spiritual life opens. In this manner do the material affairs become eased, even as he gave, my yoke is easy for he who contemplates and understands. For simply by taking thought, as some would, in meditation, one may not add 1 cubit to the stature, neither may one's hair be turned white or black, but in the application of the thought, that consciousness held of that divine force, as makes for continuity of constructive life. This brings the activity in that manner in which the individual becomes the channel through which the Lord's forces, gods of the universe, the Master himself, may manifest that living water, that way, that life. For he being the vine and we as the branches, should we laud self, when our strength of body, mind and soul rests in him. For he is the light of the body. If one has lost that light, or so shaded self's own influences as to make, either in the physical body or the mental body, that which is shaded from that light, one loses its abilities to function in the proper way and manner, whether a spiritual force, a mental force, or a physical. For all is in him. In him we live and move and have our being. Keep the light before thee, knowing that, not my will, but thine, be done. Why do I feel responsible for the whole affair and responsible for the future? Because there has been a great deal of resentment builded by implication, by the body or the man. Hence there are those periods when, with the thinking or meditating over the past, the resentment is turned towards self. Do not condemn self. Rather make self's life one of service to an ideal and leave the whole in the hands of the creative forces that rule the destinies of every soul. Make self more and more in accord with that which is of his ways, the Master's ways, and leave the results in his hands. For, in him, we live and move and have our being. Let thy prayer then be, rather, not my way, Lord. Rather have thine own way with the activities of myself, my mind, my body, my soul. In the beginning, all souls that were as portions of the thought of God were given the opportunity for expression, as to be companions for that creative force, or God. For, the creative force made or brought into being souls to be equal with, and one with, him. Even as is manifested in the way, the truth, the light. What was the development? What is to be the development, rather? For there have been those contacts in soul development where there were those activities in the material manifestations of the entity as related to the tenets, principles or laws that governed such ministry of individuals' activities regarding their experiencing in material forces, the laws concerning man's relationship to the universal or the spiritual forces. These begun in the experiences in the earth, then, bring a particular or specific stimuli to the mental, material mental and spiritual mental, or soul development for the entity in any relationship respecting same. For, as is understood, life is one. As was given, know, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. Then, the spirit of the creative energy is one in its activity with the entity or soul of every individual and is seeking those channels, those manners to find the way, as represented by that one that is the intermediator between man and that creative energy, or the Father. So, the development is that there may be given by self, 307, that understanding to others that they may see their status quo with themselves and their relationship to that way. That they, the individuals, may make that necessary start, movement, experience same, for the closer knowledge of him. That is the development, that the entity shall now prepare self for the giving out of that as is gained through such channels, in awakening in the lives of others, that something must be done by the self that they may know their relationships to the Father. How, then, shall the entity, the body consciousness, the soul mind of the entity, develop self in the present? By weighing in the balance, in meditation, that which is received by self in meditation, with that which is given by individual experience in the various lessons that are presented from time to time, that there may be the greater ability to awaken in the classes, the masses, that necessary for them, the individuals, to do as respecting their own activity. In the preparation, then, begin with asking self what will be the questions that will be asked by one in this stage of development, with this consciousness, with that environ, with this hereditary influence in their life. This weighing in the balance that necessary for the meeting of every question that may arise in the minds of those that would become seekers after truth, after knowledge. As to why, then, each individual must be, and is, the keeper of his own vineyard? For there is, as from the beginning, in each entity that, of the Father, or the first cause, that enables one to make manifest even in the material world, through the attributes of the first cause, that makes for the manifestation of that power, or force, in a material world. As to what one does with same is an action of the will that entity himself, or herself. Give these entities the principle and technique of conscious telepathy. The consciousness of his abiding presence. For, he is all power, all thought, the answer to every question. For, as these attune more and more to the awareness of his presence, the desire to know of those influences that may be revealed causes the awareness to become materially practical. Know that ye are in a material world. True, ye are body, mind and spirit, But do not expect spiritual things to happen in material manifestations, save as a helpful experience if used so, for the entity producing that which may be as a helpful, encouraging experience, and don't look for those things to materialize save by necessity. For did the master even feed the disciples when in the normal manner there could be food purchased? Did he draw from the fish monies to buy clothing, to buy trips, to buy experiences for himself or disciples? Or to meet emergencies? Ye, as most individuals, and ye in a little manner, observe these, and yet would have others believe differently. In the application, then, first know what ye believe, spiritually, and who is the author of thy ideal. Remember there are not authors, it is not plural. For the Lord, thy God, is one. Don't forget it. He's not multiple. There are helpers, yes, but each individual soul is meant to help. Are ye doing your job or trusting someone else to do it for thee? It can't be done. Each soul is just as each atom, as each corpuscle. For, remember, ye are as corpuscles in the body of God. Each with a duty, a function to perform if the world would be better for thou having lived in it, and this is thy purpose in the earth. Remember, there is within, rather, that guidance necessary. Thou hast named the name, thou hast within thine experience the greater director, the maker, the creator of the worlds. And in him there is hope, life, and without him there is little. Then do not confuse thyself with man-made experiences. For he has given, as has been directed in those that should be thy studies, ask and it shall be given thee. Seek and ye shall know what has been prepared for thee from the foundations of the world. For unless the answer is my spirit beareth witness with that which is my hope for life, my conception of eternity, my conception of life that is thy conception, unless it beareth witness with these, ye are indeed wandering far afield. But his promises have been, seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto thee. And these become then thy mission. Open the door for those that cry aloud for a knowledge that God is within the reach of those that will put their hand to doing. Just being kind, not a great deed as men count greatness, but just being gentle and patient and loving, even with those that would despitefully use thee. For the beauties of the Lord are with those that seek to know and witness for him among men. As to my spiritual development, how can I bring myself nearer to perfection in the eyes of God and man? Open thine heart that the Spirit may renew that which is being awakened, by necessity, often, yea, but by the very acts of the spiritual self. Be not led away by those that do not follow close in that way, in which thou hast been trained. For, know, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. And he answers those, even though they be afar off. Would ye be my children, I will be your God. Any further advice for this body at this time? Study to show thyself approved unto him ye would serve. Know that the knowledge of from whence ye came, and your trials through those experiences, is as necessary in meeting the everyday experiences of life in the now, for it is ever the now, as it is to study about whither thou wilt go. For, life is one, even as thy God is one, and the forces that are active, in whether it be the material, the mental or the spiritual life, if constructive, emanate from that source. Please explain the roaring sound in my right ear which I have heard in recent meditation. Thou hast heard that the voice of him cometh as the rushing of mighty waters. And that injunction which came with same, peace, be still. For it is not only in the storm, nor the rocks, but rather the still small voice that comes after same. Hence thou hast drawn, and do draw, nigh unto the brink of a greater understanding. Hold fast to his hand, that leads the way. Then be guided by that which speaks from within, and not by every word of others, that would have thee defy this, or demand that, or to feel thou art being mistreated in this or that manner. For if thou art God's, if thou art living in his ways, if thou art doing his biddings day by day, they that mistreat thee, they that condemn thee, they that find fault are finding same with God and not with thee.